Hey guys, coming to you for another garden update. It is July 13th and it's going to be a hot one today. So I just finished watering. I thought I'd show you what's going on. Again, with the theme of foraging in your own backyard. These are daylilies. They are native. You can eat the roots, which is really rhizomes, like potatoes. You can eat the buds. So again, if you're desperate, you need food, there you go. We've got some wild grape growing here. I actually use this for the tannins when I ferment because it keeps things from going soft. There's also yellow dock interdispersed throughout here that I've been harvesting from. Again, the root is edible, the leaves are edible. So that's something you could also use. Again, you could grow your own food, right? So you can grow your own herbs. We have sage here. We have cranberry hibiscus, which is used to make hibiscus tea. We've got some mulberries that we took cuttings from our own tree. And we have actually another big one growing over there. We have some mint. What else is going on? Spearmint, thyme. These are all cheap and easy to grow. We have moderna, which is bee balm. Vervain, which grows wild as well. Vervain is used medicinally for a lot of things. Again, but nettles, you can find these foraging. I don't like to let them grow out of the pot because the dog, I don't want her walking into it. Agastache you can actually use as well. Has medicinal benefit. I use it in with lemon balm to make herbal teas. Here's some self-heal, which once it takes off, you'll find everywhere. I just pulled some out of the grass. Willow bark, again, what aspirin is derived from. We have mayflower, passion flower. You get the maypops. These grow native. It's further south than me because I'm in New York. Mugwort you can drink, you can smoke, you can smudge with, which I do. Today is the full moon. So it's a great day to release what is not serving you. Again, we've got some wild raspberries. We actually just found some wild blackberries across the street that we're gonna move over here. Again, there's still garlic mustard, there's wild spinach. Lemon balm is another thing that once you grow it, you never have to seed it again. It will self-seed constantly. American elderberry, again, will keep growing and sending off shoots. Those are native. This is the American elderberry in bloom. You can use the flowers. You can eat the berries raw of the American, not the sambucas, which this is. The these berries need to be cooked. Again, we've got more yellow dock, more agastache. Again, Jerusalem artichokes. This is a tuber. Again, once you plant it, you have it forever. Rhubarb, same thing, as long as you don't have a gopher that keeps eating it. We've got some more raspberry back there. Those are yellow. Oregano, again, the oregano self-seeded itself down here. So you'll have oregano forever, okay? Strawberries, same premise. They will keep sending out runners. So again, you plant something once and you'll have free food. Comfrey is great to have for pollinators, but also because it's high in nitrogen. So you can use it in the compost to accelerate the compost. You can put it in your beds to feed the beds with nitrogen. We do both of those things. The blueberries, we've had a little issues with this year. I've been pulling out what we're not using in here, but this is a ton of chickweed. We've got the pearl stain. Again, all of this is edible and it's growing in your own backyard, I guarantee it. Once it starts to get hot, the chickweed does go to flower and some of this stuff can get bitter, like the lettuces, but I still use them because, again, it's free food. So we have the mullein. Again, this grows on its own. This is medicinal. It's great for a lot of different things. Again, you can use the leaves. I make smudge sticks with them. You can also use the flowers. So I collect the flowers and dry them. But these are all things that have been growing for thousands of years and people have been using them for thousands of years. Horseradish, again, you grow it once, you find it forever. We're constantly finding horseradish in all the beds. Calendula, you grow it once, you have it forever. Okay, and the flowers are medicinal. You can eat the flowers. Motherwort, you grow it once, you have it forever. Valerian, you grow it once, you have it forever. See, there's another motherwort, and I've dug out I don't know how many. So here's some more wild raspberry. It kind of just grows wherever. This is more horseradish. Horseradish is in this bed. We have to get it out because it takes over. But you can see things are coming along. I did have to treat this again with the homeopathic because the cabbage moths, as you can see, are still around and they are still prolific. And now I'm also dealing with whitefly. So I'm hoping to get some cabbage. God, I'm hoping to get some cabbage. Because every year we don't get any. The bugs get it to us before we get it. So the garlic chives, again, plant it once, you have it forever. Nasturtium, flowers are edible, leaves are edible. It's also medicinal. Rosemary, some places you get your rosemary to come back. We don't have that luck here. It gets too cold. Again, this is all wild spinach, lamb's quarters. I just let grow because it's free food and I use it for my smoothies. I use it in salads, more calendula. You could see here the squashes are growing up the cattle panel, which is what we want. They're setting off fruit. I'm being sure to make sure there's a lot of pollinators in here to make sure that everything is getting pollinated, which is why we have flowers in here to bring the bees. We did have a lot of swallowtails this weekend, which was nice to see. But I'm trying to train everything up. I don't want it growing on the ground because I don't want slugs. We already contend with them. Here's some vervain growing on its own, clover, purslane, chickweed. Again, guys, get a field guide with pictures of what grows in your area. I'll post the books that I have that I use, but get one for whatever area of the world you live in. Books, you can always have a book. The webpage does not go away. It's always there. You can see the orac. This is something that grows native by me, but I never had it. So I brought it in so that I would have it. You can see the squash have filled out. They have blossoms on them and some fruit. We've fertilized everything this weekend. I've been plucking the basil and making herbal teas with it. You can see the tomatoes are growing larger than our tea pools. So now I have to come up with an idea of how to keep the Florida weave going. This is a large fused blossom. So that's going to be a big tomato, but it's called cat face when they do that. And the heirloom varieties are known to do that. And I plant a lot of heirloom. So that tends to happen a lot. And I leave them on there because, again, it's free food. Oh, there's an earwig. Lovely. We don't want that because that's competition for us. I picked off a bunch of beetles this morning. Again, competition. You can see the onions are still growing. Luckily, they did not flower again. I only had a few that flowered, and those are ones I won't be able to cure, so we'll have to eat them quickly. The Malabar spinach is finally growing. It's taking a while. But you could see the shallots are getting ready to harvest. There's a flyaway mullein in there. I'm going to have to brace those tomatoes up today before it gets too hot and they flop. We've got some flowers on the peppers. So things are coming along. Honeysuckle has been done blooming, but it still smells sweet from the elderberry. These are our other squashes. They've set off flowers. Some more lemon balm in here. That's seeded itself. This is self-sealing chamomile. Some sweet Thai basil that I seeded. I'm happy it came up. These are some sweet marigolds, but you can see the slug trails. I mean, literally, the slugs have just been nonstop this year. I'm hoping that there are eggs on the fennel, since we did see a lot of swallowtails, and they do lay on the fennel, and they lay on dill, picking up some mullein flowers, and they lay on parsley. But unfortunately, every time we've gotten the babies, the birds have gotten to them or something. But you can see the damage from the Japanese beetles. This is another willow tree, completely annihilating them. This is the bee balm. The hummingbirds love this. Again, you plant it once, you have it forever. Purple lobelia, same thing. You plant it once, you have it forever. Both are medicinal. This is a smaller vitex. My bigger one is in the front. And you can see what's going on. The honeysuckle is fine. The aphids did not come back. However, and I moved some calendula over here, it's a little shocked. The aphids, a different type of aphid, is on the crepe myrtle, both of them. And it, no matter what treatment I'm giving it, it's not responding. Yep, here's a Japanese beetle. So I had walked around with soapy water the last few days in the morning when they're kind of like still asleep, picking them off. we have a thing to catch them, but it's like they keep multiplying. So you could see here all of the damage. There's a sap. The sap is getting on my lilacs, and it's attracting flies. It's also getting onto my rose bushes, which I'm not happy about. There was another Japanese beetle there. Just trying to get rid of it before it flew away. Some pokey root. Again, if you have a foraging book, guys, I can't emphasize this enough. You'll see what is safe to eat and use for medicine in your own backyard. You're not without power. You do have control over some things. You have control of what you put in your own backyard. Gardening is not dangerous. I saw an article that in the UK, they're telling people to wear a mask, that gardening is dangerous to your health. That's bullshit. They just don't want you to be able to have any control over your health. And you do. You can work on your immunity every single day. Roses, you can make into tea. You can make an infused oil. Marigolds, you can eat the blossoms. They're edible, right? So I'm growing loofah to have as sponges. Hopefully I get some loofahs on it. So there's so many things. And by you growing a garden, you are helping yourself, but you're also helping the pollinators. Because if there are no pollinators, there is no food. So you could see like the green stalks, I've been transitioning them over. The potatoes are starting to die back. The peas are starting to die back. The chard is finally filling out. But I reseeded some string beans. I'm going to reseed some kale since all this kale bolted and then I got aphids. I'll pull the cilantro out because it bolted, went to seed. You can see the flowers on it, but I'm leaving the flowers for the pollinators. So there's plenty of things for them to eat, so then they do what they need to do so that I actually have fruit on my fruiting plants. But you see the raspberries. The strawberries filled in nicely. I've got some zinnias here again to attract pollinators. I've got some baby tulsi. It took forever to grow. It's Krishna tulsi. We'll see how that goes. I haven't grown that variety before. I did seed some more tulsi and some more basil varieties to make for herbal teas. You could see that the sweet potatoes are filled out nicely. The regular potatoes are filling in nicely. I'm hoping that we get some more potatoes. I did harvest all of our garlic. I'll show you that. So you could see here, this is the garlic we harvested. This is all we had. Something ate it. This was half of a potato bag. We started to harvest and we saw that this is all we were getting, so we tried to put them back. We'll see what happens. This something got to my echinacea. It's my purple coneflower and my bee balm. So I'm gonna take this out of the sun and I'm gonna bring it inside with the self-heal and dehydrate it so I have it for future when it's not growing, right? So the things that you have now that are growing, you can see the seeds that I planted. Holy basil, blue spice, and Persian basil, right? So these poppies I grew for medicine as well. So people want to tell you you can't grow these things, you can. You don't need to be gardening as long as I can. You can grow some herbs. You can grow some fruit trees, some currants, some raspberries, some blueberries. Let the things grow wild that are already growing in your yard and use them for medicine. Okay, signing off. Post any comments down below. Talk to you soon.